Do you want to learn some powerful techniques to implement storytelling in your sketches? I think it's something that we as artists always strive to do, and a lot of times we struggle because we really don't know where to start. So if you're interested in this, I want you to get out your sketchbooks. Okay, so this video is going to be broken up into two parts. The first part, I'm going to be giving you the backbone of how to storytell within your sketches. And then the second half of the video, I invite you to just enjoy some time lapse and get your sketchbooks out and draw along with me, take notes. It's just going to be a nice, relaxing finish to a lesson that I hope resonates with you. All right, so let's get started with storytelling. Storytelling in sketches is an incredibly powerful tool that can elevate an artist's work and also captivate an audience in a way that few other mediums can. When you do it well, it has the ability to convey complex emotions and ideas in a very simple and compelling way. At least that's what we strive for. So, what exactly is storytelling? It's the process of using sketches to tell a story. It's pretty simple. Think about graphic novels, think about comics, rather than relying on words or other forms of visual communication. It's a very unique and versatile medium that can be used to convey a wide range of emotions and ideas, from the humorous all the way to the profound. I mean, we all want to be funny with our art, but we also want to do profound art. We want to do art that resonates with people for years. Okay, at least we think that that's what makes art so compelling. But as artists, we've all been there, staring at a blank page, trying to convey a complex story through our sketches, but struggling to get out our point. You know, it's like trying to write a novel without being able to use words. We get stuck, we get frustrated, and we wonder why it's so hard to convey our vision. And it's not just about getting our point across, it's about engaging our audience. We got to draw them in and making them feel something. But let's be honest, that's no easy feat. It takes skill, it takes patience, it takes practice. But what if I told you that there are ways to make it easier? You're probably wondering what those are. All right, so let me get into a little bit more detail about it. One of the biggest struggles I think artists face when trying to tell a story through sketches is figuring out where to start. I mean, do you start with characters, the setting, the plot? It's kind of overwhelming. And it's easy to get stuck, especially if you're just staring at a blank page. Another struggle is trying to convey tone and emotion through our sketches. How do you draw funny? How do you draw scary? It's not as easy as it sounds. I mean, we can sit here as teachers and try to say, well, scary eyes are tinier and cuter eyes are bigger. You want to do it funny? Big, cuter smiles, and it's not that easy. And then there's the issue of pacing. So how do you keep your audience engaged from start to finish? Okay, it's like trying to write a screenplay, but with pictures instead of words. And, of course, there's the pressure of making it all make sense. Will anyone even understand what we're trying to say? We draw a picture, and we think that it's going to resonate with people, hopefully, our friends, our family, our significant other, and then they look at it and they go, I have no idea what's going on here. So it's kind of like a deflated balloon, you know. I remember back in school when, this is back in early to mid 2000s, and we still plotted out artwork for our final presentations for our industrial design classes. So I moved to transportation design. I was designing vehicles. Okay, so final presentations, we had to plot out these large prints. I mean, these were 50, 60 inches by 30 or 40 inches. These were big. We went down to the computer graphics lab, printed out these huge plots, paid a lot of money for it. And you wanted to tell a story through the design process of your vehicle. You know, how did you start with the very first week? Okay, whether it's semesters or quarters, 10 weeks, 15 weeks. What did you start with? What was the middle of the road sketches and your, refined look? And then all of a sudden you got your money shots. And this goes along with creatures too, characters, props, any of that's like a tangible thing to put inside of a video game or a movie. Final renders, front 3/4, back 3/4 view. And I was always taught that if you want to successfully tell a story with your presentation, then you have to tell a story showing progression from start to finish, so that when you look at your work, and if somebody else looks at it, they can read it just like they're reading a book. From left, they go right, and then they go right back down to left to the next paragraph to the right, but do it with your artwork. Okay? If you want to successfully tell a story through your art, make sure that there's a point of why they're even looking at it. Environment artists know exactly what I'm talking about. So when you do environment concept art, you want that focal point, and then you want to create paths so that, hypothetically speaking, a game character or a character in general, or you or the viewer, are going to take this path throughout that environment and end up in that spot, but you don't know how you're going to get there because there's peril. That's storytelling. All right. So how do we overcome these struggles? Well, one technique I found to be incredibly helpful is to start with a clear idea of what we want to convey. Don't just sit down and start drawing. Take some time to brainstorm, to think about the message we want to get across and the emotions we want to evoke. Now, let me rewind a little bit, and I want to explain that further, because there is definitely merit to opening up a sketchbook and just drawing. I mean, we're creatives. We just want to draw because it feels good. Who knows what we're going to create on the page? It might turn out to be a masterpiece when we don't have to think too hard. I'm talking about if you specifically want to convey an emotion and a story. Okay, if you want to evoke emotions. Another technique is to focus on the characters. Okay, so give them unique personalities, give them backstories, motivations. If you're drawing a creature and it's just a mean-looking demonic thing with wings and tentacles and stuff, give it a backstory. That's why in my creature design workshop that I have, which I invite you to look at the links in the description for both my creature design workshop Discord and also the creature design workshop that I conduct every month. We talk about naming your creature, naming your character. Okay, height, weight, diet, how fast is it? That's storytelling. Okay, you need to make your characters and creatures relatable. You don't have to make them human, but you need to at least give them some character. Okay, age, wisdom, battle wounds, the demeanor in which they stand. Are they hunched over? Are they proud and stoic? That's storytelling. You can tell a lot about a character that a concept artist has come up with by facial expressions, by their clothing, how they stand. So many things. All right. We can also use visual storytelling techniques like composition, color, and texture to convey tone and emotion. Think about it. A bright, sunny day is going to evoke a very different feeling than a dark, stormy night. And of course, we need to think about pacing. So break your story down into panels or beats and make sure each panel flows smoothly into the next. This is why creating graphic novels and comics, it's so enjoyable, because we have these stories in our head and we have these images of characters, and we just don't know how to get it down because we're worried about our drawing ability. But when it comes down to it, if you get the idea across, the technical skills will follow. Get the idea down. Ideas sell way faster than technical prowess, because you could be a good artist and have horrible ideas. But if you have good ideas, You can always morph your technical skills later. That idea is always going to stick. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples, and that might successfully tell a story, okay, and evoke emotions in viewers. So, for example, let's tell a story of a young boy's first day of school. We see him waking up early. We see him getting dressed. We see him running to catch a bus. It's a very simple story. It's so relatable. And it's told in a way that's both humorous and heartwarming. So think about drawing a picture of that. You have a boy waking up, a boy freaking out because the bus comes in 6 minutes. You have to get dressed. You haven't even eaten breakfast. Your homework is out of your school bag, so you got to collect the right stuff. So many different pieces of art can be drawn or painted from just that. And it might be a 1 minute short if you're going to do a video on it. All right, and then let's take a look at another one. Another scenario could be a couple's romantic evening. So we see them getting ready, going out to dinner, and then walking hand in hand in the park. It's beautiful. It's intimate. And it's conveyed so simply, yet so effectively through these sketches. Again, think about being a storyboard artist for a movie. You have to do this. They give you a script, the director does, or the writer, and you have to read these scripts, and then you have to bring those storyboard elements out and draw the pictures of what might, what could occur. And then, of course, the cinematographer and then the director and everything will sit down with you, ask you what you meant here. You'll work with them. They say, hey, I like this shot. Let's move the camera over a little bit. Hey, you drew this dragon flying into the scene. Let's switch it to the other side. That's storytelling, all right? And then another one that I just personally love, just because we've seen this so much in concept art, and that is the hero's journey. Okay, think about all the environment concept art we've seen with a dude with a stick, walking in some alien landscape or some kind of cool place. Okay, it's fun. We see him facing challenges, overcoming obstacles, and emerging victorious in the end. It's an epic story, told in just a few simple sketches. All right, I would love to have been there on set for Ridley Scott's Gladiator, the first one. When they had to do these storyboards for Marcus Aurelius and, becoming, like, he was a Roman general, and then all of a sudden he was captive, and then he had to fight his way. Like, imagine drawing that stuff. Just amazing. All right, so what is the key to mastering the art of storytelling and sketches? It's not just about drawing pretty pictures. Let me repeat that. It's not just about drawing pretty pictures. It's about conveying a message, evoking an emotion, and engaging our audience. Because if you do that first, and then your artwork looks awesome, it's going to be hard for anybody to look away. All right? Which is why I strongly suggest looking at your portfolios and asking yourself, am I telling stories through my creatures, my characters, my props? If you're wondering, how the heck am I going to show emotion through a prop? Well, think about it. What if you were tasked by a AAA studio to design weapons and weapons only? That was your niche, and you're super good at it. If you have a sniper rifle in front of you, okay, you have the 2D artwork, the 3D artwork, whichever one. You have burn marks, you have graffiti on it, you can have age, wear and tear, you can have maybe it's a sawed-off shotgun. Okay, that just sawing off a shotgun for a game tells a story. Maybe that person did not like the long barrel, and maybe that person could go hunt monsters if they saw the barrel off and they have better aim. All right? That's storytelling. So I encourage you to give storytelling and sketches a try in your own work. So don't be afraid to experiment. take risks and to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. And and before we get into the second half of this, the time lapse, and I would love to hear you share your creations in the comments. I want to see what you come up with. And what I mean by see, this is again why I'm encouraging you to join the Creature Design Workshop Discord. So if you could look in the description below, join the Discord. We have a channel on there dedicated to personal work only. If you want critiques, we got that too. If you want inspiration, we got that too. It's a bustling community. We are approaching 2,000 members, and it just keeps growing. And it's very humbling to see, and it's also really exciting. So let's take a step back. Let's evaluate our own work. If you're drawing right now, great. Continue drawing, scribble, doodle. Remember, you're not drawing this for anybody else but yourself. You want to tell a story. Write down notes of what you want to achieve in your artwork before you do it so that you can have some kind of clear outline. It's no different than a writer doing it for his or her novel. All right, so without further ado, please join me and let's watch a little time lapse, and you can see how I storytell, write notes, and just make a fun sketch. Thanks for listening to this, and hope you enjoy.